Today we have the Subaru BRZ TS. Now, the second generation of this small, rear-wheel drive sports car co-developed with Toyota follows the same concept as the previous gen. Maximum performance at a reasonable price point with an emphasis on driving characteristics, especially handling. Besides obvious styling updates, the second gen received much needed, bigger and more powerful motor with different tuning. It's still a high-revving, naturally aspirated boxer 4-cylinder, but now it has 2.4 liters, makes 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, available at 3700 RPM. And that second figure is very important because in previous generation, the peak torque of 156 pound-feet was delivered at 6400 RPM. Now, 2024 marks the debut of the TS variant that you see here, which has been tuned by STI, hence the name. It includes revamped suspension, better brakes, stickier tires, and new 18-inch wheels. Now, before we talk how it all works together and what it's like to drive the BRZ TS, let's jump inside and talk about the interior space. The interior of the BRZ TS is just as it should be. Not sophisticated or overwhelming, but simple and easy to get around, with physical controls for everything you need. The materials aren't top-notch, however, typically for a Subaru product everything is well put together, giving you a feeling of solidity, and sporty accents such as Alcantara inserts throughout the cabin are a nice touch. The seating position, just like in a proper sports car, is great. You sit low to the ground, literally a few inches above the road. The pedal box allows you for an easy heel and toe, and my only wish is the steering wheel would have a little bit more telescope adjustment. The seats themselves are very supportive and relatively comfortable, at least for a performance vehicle at this price point. The back seat, well, it's there, but as you can imagine, it's not usable, and the trunk will not shock you either. It's tiny, offering only 62.26 cubic feet of space. STI. Those three letters mean something in the automotive world, and while the BRZ TS isn't a full-blown STI, small touches made by Subaru Technica International team are more than welcome. Sadly, I wasn't able to take the BRZ TS to the racetrack or to autocross where it belongs, but my favorite backroad gave me a good sense of what this thing is capable of and what it's all about. After revving the hell out of the engine and taking a couple of corners aggressively, I could not get the smile off my face. The TS is incredibly balanced, staying flat around corners, body roll pretty much doesn't exist, and thanks to the boxer engine, the car has a low center of gravity, something you can feel as soon as you start pushing. With the traction and stability control on, the car is stable and predictable, but when you turn them off, the BRZ TS becomes stale happy and allows you for controllable drifts thanks to standard limited slip differential, and even when you do lose grip and go sideways, it's extremely easy to control it using gas and steering. Speaking of steering, it's very precise and has a nice feel to it, but it doesn't provide feedback, at least the feedback I would expect. You mostly rely on visual and lateral feedback driving this thing. The brake pedal may seem a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, it will allow you to precisely modulate the braking power, and I didn't notice any issues with fading. Now, I mentioned the high revving nature of the engine in the beginning. Yes, it likes when you keep it at high RPM and nothing really happens below 3000 revolutions, but the mid-range power delivery is decent and the tuning is much better compared to the first generation. The close ratio 6-speed manual gearbox is precise, and it seems like Subaru finally improved their clutch. It has never been something that you easily get used to, but this one feels nice. I've always liked the BRZ and the idea of an affordable, analog old-school feeling car. With the improvements made by STI, we basically get a track or at least an autocross-ready car that will be a great tool even if you're a beginner. Now, one remaining question is, can you daily it? Absolutely. The suspension doesn't punish you, the clutch is fairly easy to operate, and you get Subaru's eyesight system, which gives you things like an adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, or an automatic braking. Pricing starts at $35,345, which is a $5,000 premium over the regular BRZ. If you have any questions about this car, drop a comment and I'll answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.